was a revel unlike any other. It was a parade of sin that would scar a realm for generations, an outpouring of depravity to compete with those that raged through the absent prince's own halls. Stasis was missing it. The Lord of Pain did not recall pledging his allegiance to treacherous Zeech. Shifting blues and lurid heliotrope pink had never been his colours, nor did he particularly lust for command over the sorcerous arts. Yet, surely, he mused, such a change of heart must have occurred for him. To be blessed with such a tritely ironic fate. Had it not been he who had besieged the black towers of the Canaanite elves? Was it also not he, most artfully agonizing of Slaaneish's beloved, who had sailed with the herald Sinhart to Hagnar, and bought time for ungrateful Morathi to complete her petty ritual and bring the prophecy of parturition to pass? And for this devoted service, the Lord of Pain had been relegated to leading the Sybarites that defended Urglu's abyssal hollow, allowing those in the shadow of their Protean god-spawn to offer their ecstatic worship. It is outrageous, Getheriax muttered, as he stared from atop the rocky outcrop into the murky depression below. It is an abominable insult. Abominable! Pasathan screeched at his side. That Getherax had not been addressing the Blissbob archer did not seem to register, as Pasathan flung his arms wide, gilded chains rattling where they did not loop through flesh. A truly odious— Shut up, the Lord of Pain snapped. By the 6 delightful hells, shut up! I never thought fawning could aggravate me so until I met you. The urge to stave in the Blissbob's skull flared up, and not for the first time. Getherax was reaching for his unsheathed mace when the Painmaster Ral stepped to his right. Our scouts have returned. More are coming. Ral's voice was unemotive, almost to the point of parody. Getherax could tell little about the Myrmidesh beneath the gilded helm. His anger forgotten as quickly as it had arrived, the Lord of Pain sighed and clicked his tongue. The blood god's whelps? He asked, rolling his eyes as Ral nodded. Even since the revel had begun, Khorne's armies had been hurling themselves against the abyssal hollow. A maddening influence had taken hold of them that saw them barrel through the trickster mists of Olgu to assault this sacred ground in near constant waves. Some had come close to breaching the defences, leaving mounds of butchered Hedonites in their wake. This latest incursion was likely no more than a warband, but Getherax was not so blithe a tactician to discount it. Ral shrugged. They name themselves the Gore Slake. Naturally. It's always gore this, skulls with that, with them, muttered the Lord of Pain. Another cacophony of delirious ecstasy arose from behind the Sybarite defences as the god thing pulsated. From the way Ral exhaled and Pasathan shrieked, it seemed that they felt the writhing in their souls too. Yet all that left Getherax was a frustrated growl. What about the ones on Nifrost's Ridge? What were they called? The Flayed. The Flayed. Now that is a name. Getherax beamed, sudden ebullience filling him. Crude, but it showed a bit of imagination on their part. No sooner had he finished speaking than howled battle cries heralded the arrival of a mass of blood reavers who emerged from the murk at a loping charge. The Lord of Pain straightened and clapped Ral's shoulder with a furious grin. Well then, perhaps this won't be all bad. Even as rains of barbed arrows fell upon them, the Blood Reavers' charge never faltered, murder flashing in their eyes. As they crashed against Ral's Painbringers, the melee became a maelstrom of joyous, howling screams. Ral wielded their blade with customary flair, severing the heads of two barbarians in a precise swing, even as another of the Myrmidesh were hacked apart under a flurry of axe blows. Pain Lord! As Getherax lifted his barbed mace from the spasming wreckage of a Blood Reaver, a guttural voice attracted his attention. The hulking, horned figure shouldered his kin aside with an irrepressible fury, muscles flexing beneath ruddy flesh. The brute soon drew up before Getherax and hefted an oversized axe, skull rune of corn blazing where it was carved into his chest. I am Ranus, born of demons, Deathbringer of... Normally I would hear your oafish posturing out in full, the Lord of Pain cut in, sighing as the Deathbringer flinched in surprise. But I am in a foul humour today. Can we hurry this along, wretch? With a roar, Ronos flung himself forward with a speed that caught the Lord of Pain quite off guard. Getherax staggered as the axe sunk into his bare chest. It was not a deep cut, or at least a lethal one, but the champion felt his spirit soar once more as blessed agony coursed through him. Hurling himself backwards, blood sheeting from the wound, Getherax laughed and parried a follow-up strike with a shaft of his bludgeon. For a time, the two simply traded blows, Ronos's bloody rage seeing him shrug off torturous impacts as Getherax darted aside from the Deathbringer's axe. The Lord of Pain was preparing to deliver some new acerbic remark when a rush of mania filled his soul. The frenzied straining of something desperate to be born writhed against reality's shackles with such force that it set the aether quaking. All the Hedonites felt it, a fire in the mind that spurred them on to greater murder-making. Setting upon a staggered Ronos with renewed fury, Getherax was barely in control of himself, and only loosely aware as the head of his mace crashed against the foe's skull, over and over and over. The honey-sweet intoning of his name snapped the Lord of Pain from his frenzy. Staggering, he glanced down to the ruin of brutalized flesh that had been Ronos, born of demons. As the last few blood reavers fell around him, his attention, however, was irrepressibly drawn to the luminous figure before him. Clavia Sinhart's smile was beatific as they stood atop a carpet of writhing, moaning blissbarbs. Even for one of the Dark Prince's handmaidens, the demon had always possessed an otherworldly quality. Since arriving at the Abyssal Hollow, they had become practically radiant, their opalescent eyes filled with divine purpose. Even as he scowled, he fought not to be smothered by those hypnotic orbs. You promised me glory, Divine One. You said I was to stand at the side of the prince. He overspat his words, levelling his mace at the demon. Yet I am condemned to this. Sinhart cooed. One of the demon's slender arms extended, a hand brushing the champion gently beneath the chin. Anger ebbed from the Lord of Pain as he felt his soul twitch. Our loyal realm's Strider. So many prove themselves false, but not you. You have always been a true servant. The time of Genesis will come, when we are blessed with hearing the divine voice and witnessing the glittering talons that will shear reality in twain. Who will it be known for with such vigour? Flavia was flattering him, he knew. Yet was flattery not a sacrament to the Dark Prince, and if indeed his pride trapped him in this task, then was that itself not a form of worship? But when the Lord of Pain asked, gazing at the demon as fury was replaced with rapturous need, when will it be time? Clavia's Shuric smile only widened as they looked up, gazing to a horizon no other could see. When the mirror of men's minds lies open to us, and the stolen banquet is offered once more, then, my sweetling, then all we desire will become ours.